We're good? Yikes. This meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals is hereby called to order. The board was established pursuant to Section 519.13 of the Ohio Revised Code by the Anderson Township trustees to provide administrative relief to any person or entity adversely affected by the Anderson Township zoning resolution. Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Here.
Mr. Sion?
Here.
Mr. Shekels?
Here.
Mr. Halpin?
Present.
Mr. Haber?
Here. Thank you for coming to this meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals. Please be aware that this meeting is audio and videotaped and may be carried live on television. First, let me take an opportunity to outline our procedures. A summary of the appeal, we have two tonight, is presented by the staff. Then we'll invite the appellant up to the podium to present its case. The board members may then ask questions of the appellant. After that, all persons supporting the appeal will be permitted to testify one at a time after being recognized. When those persons supporting the appeal are finished, we will invite those opposed to the appeal to testify and/or ask questions. We have a small group here, so I'm going to go through this rather quickly. All persons wishing to testify, whether for or against an appeal, may only do so after being sworn in. So I ask anybody who is going to provide testimony today, if you would please stand and raise your right hand. And swear or affirm, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. I don't know if I need to go through all of this about non-repetitive testimony and all that kind of stuff, so I'm going to give that back to you, sir. Any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Two. One would be the memorandum dated May 3rd, 2023 regarding case 20-2009 BZA. The second will be the addition of memorandum dated May 3rd, 2023 regarding case 9-2023 BZA.
How about we put those as discussion items number 9 on the agenda? Any objections to adding those items and approving the agenda? Then let's consider the agenda approved by unanimous consent. Next is going to be approval of the minutes from April 6th. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from April 6th?
No.
If none, then we will have a roll call on this. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Sine approves. Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Since I was
Abstain.
here. Abstain. Abstain.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Haber?
Aye. Good. Number 1, number 2. So then number 3 on our agenda is consideration of case 13-2023 BZA, which is a variance request to allow a covered patio with a slightly modified rear yard setback. So at this point, I would request to staff give us their report.
Tonight, case 13-2023 BZA. The applicants are Erica Roeder and Todd Woodhouse, property owners of 2035 Anderson Cove, zone B2 residents. They are requesting a variance to allow a covered patio with a rear yard setback of 24 feet, where 35 feet is required in the rear yard. A little of the history: the house was built in 2004 and purchased by the property owners in April of 2017. This is a property map of the property. Aerial map of the property. You can see heavily wooded to the west, which would be along their rear property. yard. This is a topography map of the area. The house sits on a flat surface. The resident property is slopes down towards the south and southwest. A few images of the property from the street looking towards the front of the house. This is an image from the yard looking towards the area of the proposed structure. On the left side of the photo there is their property line. You can see the heavily wooded area to the west. This is the same location, just turned to 180, looking towards the street. This view is from the edge of the existing patio looking towards their neighbors to the north. This is provided information, site plan. As you can see, it's roughly proposed to be 24 feet away from the property line, whereas the setback is 35 feet. The house is built just to the setback there. This is the proposed development. So variance findings, staff is of the opinion that the variance is not substantial. The house, along with most other houses on the Anderson Code, have been constructed near or at 35-foot rear yard setback, except the previously approved variance from case 1, 2015 BZA 2077 Anderson Cove Lane. The proposed covering is to be open and over an existing patio area. The use of the rear yard would not be altered. If it were to be unattached, the covering would be considered an accessory structure, which would be permitted in the rear yard closer to the property line without a variance. The essential character of the neighborhood would not be altered. The adjoining properties would not suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance. The rear yard of the property borders 8530 Clough Pike to the west. It has a very deep and heavily wooded rear yard area, which is adjacent to the proposed covered patio. The distance from the proposed covered patio to in the house on 8530 Clough Pike is approximately 250 feet. The variance would not adversely affect delivery of governmental services. The property owner's predicament may not be feasibly obviated through some method other than a variance. Location of the roof covering requires it to be considered an addition, whereas if unattached, the covering would be an accessory structure and could be located 3 feet from the property line. Staff is of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed by granting a variance. While the addition would be encroaching on the 35-foot setback, there is no other feasible way to construct an addition to the property. An accessory structure could be fully enclosed and located at distance 3 feet from the rear property line, being more imposing on the adjacent properties. These are the standards to be considered for the case.
Questions to staff?
None.
Any? Then I would invite the appellant to come up. Is it Miss Reeder?
It's actually Woodhouse. I just haven't changed it on the deed yet.
Oh,
I mean, we're only going on 7 years, so.
okay. All right, would you state your name and address
Yep.
and
I
present
guess I could go by
your
Erica
case?
Reeder since that's the official. Erica Reeder, 2035 Anderson Cove Lane, Cincinnati 45244.
Okay.
And so I'm just here to, as you can see, there's a lot of slopes in our yard and we enjoy outdoor living. So we just wanted to put a patio, a nice looking patio on the back without being detached on the back so that we have a little bit more outdoor living. Although in the winter it's very nice to have those slopes. In the summer we don't have as much space to enjoy the outdoors, and we do have a child that likes the outdoors a lot. So, but in general we don't plan on making it. We plan on making it very classy and making it somewhere where it would be appealing to the neighborhood, not an eyesore by any means. And it's not that far. I think we're it says 24 feet from it instead of 35, and being that it's woods, we're in the hopes that we could do that and not bother anybody.
Okay.
That's really it.
Questions to the appellant?
None?
Any?
Are those woods, are they green space or who owns the woods?
The neighbor at 250 feet, I think you said, Chris said it, away from us owns the woods. He's located, I think technically he's on Anderson Cove, but he's actually located on Clough. It's an older home, so, it's not part of the development.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's also someone that owns part of it. I think he owns most of it, but part of those woods is also owned by a neighbor in the other neighborhood that is through that wooded area. And he rents out his home, I think, so we don't even know him.
So it's private property then? It's
Yeah,
not public?
it's his private property, absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Anything else? Thank you.
Nope, that's it, thank you.
Anyone wish to speak in support? Then do I need to ask in opposition? Does anybody want to speak in opposition? To the board, any other discussion before we go into where we close the public testimony?
No.
Well, then hearing no objections, then the public testimony portion of the case is closed. And I would invite anybody to begin our discussion.
I know of no reason not to approve it.
Same here.
Okay? Okay?
Agree.
Anyone else?
Nothing to add, but agree.
I agree.
I think staff's report did a wonderful job in covering all the topics, and I am in an agreement as well. So who would like to create a motion?
Mr. Chair, in regards to case 13-2023, I move that we grant citing as support the staff report and the document provided by the owner dated April 13th, 2023 by Art Hunkel, professional engineer. The only condition is that it be constructed in substantial conformance to that document.
Okay?
That it be started within 1 year and completed within 2.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye.
Mr. Sheckles.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Haber.
Aye. You're welcome, thank you. When will a document be? Next couple days. Yeah, contact them early next week. Okay? Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
We're getting out of here pretty quick. Okay, case number 14-2023, a variance request to allow a covered deck, again with a modified rear yard setback, and I would ask for staff to provide their report.
So case 14, 2023 is the applicants are Matthew and Kimberly Saley, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah.
Is it Salih?
Salih, okay. Location is 1850 Fox Hollow Lane, zoned B residence. The applicants are requesting a variance to allow a covered deck, size 16 by 16 feet, with a rear yard setback of 16 feet, where a 35-foot rear yard setback is required. A little bit of history on this site. The home was built in 1987 and was purchased by the applicants in August of 2014. In March of 2021, a permit was issued for an accessory structure size 10 feet by 16 feet. In April 1993, a permit was issued for a 4-foot-high split rail fence. This is the property map of the area. Property is highlighted in red. Aerial of the property. Topography map of the property. This is the front of the house. This is looking north in the rear yard. This is looking towards the front yard of the property. The photo is taken in the rear yard of the property. You can see the existing deck on the right side of the screen. And this is looking from the north of the property, south of the rear yard. These are provided plans from the applicants. So staff is of the opinion that the property in question will yield a reasonable return, or whether there can be a beneficial use of the property without the variance. Property is zoned for single family and will yield a reasonable return without the variance. Structures for that is not correct. Okay, sorry. The essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered. The location of the proposed covered deck will be located in the same approximate location of the current deck. There is a 6-foot-tall privacy fence located along the rear property line, which provides an effective separation between this property and the rear adjoining property. But the covered deck may be slightly visible to surrounding neighbors to the north and to the south. In addition, two other variances have been granted in this neighborhood. Previously, case 27/2022 and case 30/2022 have conditions that the addition is to remain open permanently, whereas this proposed addition is just a covered deck. While this is not a requirement or factor in consideration of additions in the zoning resolution, this appears to be part of the character of the neighborhood. The variance would not adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. The property owner's predicament may not be feasibly obviated through some method other than a variance. Location of, the location of the roof covering requires it to be considered as an addition. While if located closer to the property line and unattached, the covering would be an accessory structure. Staff is of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed by granting the variance. An accessory structure could be fully enclosed and located a distance of 3 feet from the rear property line, being more imposing on adjacent properties. These are the standards to be considered. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, any questions for staff?
Were there plans of the deck provided?
They said they didn't want to go the expense of the plans
right here.
until they see if they would. It's on one of their notes there.
So it looks like there's a covered deck, 16 by 16, and then there's something else which looks like patio. I mean, we can get the appellant up here in a moment. But we're considering the covered deck at this point.
Yeah, the patio was the existing patio, correct? Was that?
We'll have to get the appellant.
We'll get
up
the
here.
appellant. Well, that's the existing deck, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I want to go back a minute to your page 1 of your summary. If you could go back. Okay, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. Okay, I messed up. Yeah, keep going. Keep.
Maybe you're referencing this right here.
There we go.
Findings.
So what I have in my hand is staff is of the opinion that the variance would not be substantial. And when I read what you had here, staff is of the opinion that
The second paragraph.
The second paragraph's incorrect. That's from the previous one. It should have not been in the PowerPoint.
Okay, all right. I just thought I was going crazy for a moment. Thank you for the, Okay,
Two separate questions.
yeah. Any other questions for staff? We good? Mr. Salee, we invite you up to the podium. If you would just state your name and address for us, if you would, please.
Matt Salee at 1850 Fox Hollow.
Anything you would like to add?
I know you'd asked if there was plans in there. We do plan on engaging an architect to draw the plans for everything. We just haven't engaged them yet because I wanted to make sure this process could be done first, that we can get the variance. That's why I just wanted to kind of outline the parameters, the size, how deep would we go off the house, and and if that general intent was there, the rest of it will be designed by a professional architect.
Okay.
So the 16 by 16 is what you're shooting for then?
Correct. And that's approximately the size of what's there right now.
Okay.
It might go like 1, maybe 2 feet farther than the existing deck. And the other part on the other side of it is, you can see right now in some of the pictures, there's like a little concrete stoop that the stairs land on. That's indicating, I don't know if we needed to get the okay for that or not, to put like a little stamped concrete, enlarge that area a little bit down there at the bottom part. That's why I put that on there as well.
So you're covering the existing deck?
We're going to take that one down and rebuild it because it's kind of not on the best of foundations, and that's why I don't want to get a registered professional to design so taking down the existing and starting from scratch, but putting it back in pretty much the exact same place with the exact same footprint. Only, I think the existing one's maybe 14 feet, and we'd like to go to 16.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the rear of the house? That's fine.
Yep, that's it right there.
So you got a brick, lower level brick with an upper level of siding?
Yeah, and on the front, it's all brick.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good. Any other questions for the appellant?
No.
I was just wondering, like, so that's a perfect view where I was talking about with the little concrete part coming off. There's just kind of that landing pad for the stairs right now, but we're going to extend that out and probably bring that this way in that picture and kind of encompass this other little door over here. Is that something that I need more plans or permits or approvals to do, or with this going?
You need a permit for it, you don't need a variance.
Okay.
For concrete patios.
Cool.
So if he would include both, the
We'll just
covered
issue it.
and the patio, the concrete patio as well?
Yes.
That was going to be my next question, yeah. Assuming this goes through, and the next step, what's the next level of submission or that I need to do as far as, I guess, another set of plans or anything like that?
For us, if it's approved tonight, all we'll need is the resolution signed. We can use the plans that you submitted for Board of Zoning Appeals in order to issue you a permit.
All right, cool.
Okay. Anything from staff? I'm sorry, from the board to the appellant?
Thanks for calling and not going back there still. I'm sure you heard the dog.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm not going to call anybody in opposition or in favor. We have nobody here. Any other discussion before we close the public testimony?
No.
Then if there are no objections, we will consider the public testimony of this case having ended, and we will start our deliberations and ask for anybody to begin our discussion.
Well, I would approve it, but there would be 3 conditions.
Okay?
One, it would be provide the plan, and it'd be compatible with the existing construction, okay? The other would be the deck is to remain open, okay? In other words, you can't enclose the deck. They're gonna have a covered deck, but nothing else in the neighborhood has an enclosed deck, from what I'm understanding.
Okay,
And the third is a standard 1-2.
Yeah.
Those would be my conditions.
okay.
I'm sorry, guys, what was the third one? The 1 year start, 2 years complete.
Anybody else?
I'm okay with it that way.
We in agreement? I am too, as well. A motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, regarding case 14-2023, I move we grant the variance with 3 conditions. That the plans that are submitted for the structure be compatible with the existing construction. Obviously, for some reason, I got a frog in my throat. Second is that the deck covered deck is to remain open construction. And the third is that it be started within 1 year and completed in 2.
Second the motion?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion?
Do you want it to also be consistent with the site plan submitted?
That's a
Sure,
good-
you could
yeah.
add that as an additional, well, that is, I will add that as an existing additional condition.
I don't even, do we see a,
There is, he's got the little sketch there, substantially in compliance.
Detailed, value, oriented,
Yeah.
that.
Yes, substantially in compliance with that.
he's got it listed as Exhibit B, or you have it as Exhibit B dated April 10th, because
Okay.
there's no date on the site plan.
Well, then
So we have- so
I
we-
will also include his submission, no, that's the wrong one, never mind, can't do that one. I will also include his submission, April 14th, 2023.
April 14th. Yeah, okay. You just want to date everything April 14th. Works for me.
We have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Haver?
Aye. Again, beginning of next week.
Be in touch.
All right.
Hey.
So we have journalization here of case 10, 2023. Do we need to take a break here, or are we ready to rock and roll on?
Well, we got the two others.
Yeah.
How do you want to do, how do you guys want to do that?
Could do it, follow the, journalization. Do case 10 because it's from a previous month.
Yeah.
So you want, do we have to do a motion based on this?
That is not, case 10 is not a memo. Case 10 is
The chicken one.
Forest Crest.
Oh, okay,
journalization.
yes, okay, all right.
That was the,
The- yes,
Refuse.
The bees and the chickens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The birds and the bees?
you're gonna need to draw us out here to get us to 6:37. And you said Gary's looked at this? Okay.
He has reviewed it?
Yeah. I think that's SOP.
We didn't grant the variance.
No, we denied it.
Denial.
Yeah, it says, say to, being
Would be
fully
contrary.
advised, the board determines that the variance would be contrary to public interest,
Yes.
health,
Yep.
Because it would
safety,
be-
to grant, it would be, the wording is just drawing me, because, okay, I understand, okay.
That contrary word.
Yeah.
Confusing.
Well, then why are we granting the variance? It's
Legally, it's
contrary.
Contrary.
I'll trust Gary's construction.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
Got it.
Variance application is hereby denied. Yep, anything else? Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
A motion?
With regards to case number 10-2023 BZA, a motion, I move that we approve and journalize.
The motion is denied, though.
Move
To
to
journal.
Journalize.
the journalization
All right.
of the.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Lawrence?
Abstain?
Mr. Sine?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Favor?
Aye.
For
Okay.
approving the journalization of the
That's number 7.
Did he take it to court?
He can't, Joe. He could.
He can't until he gets this.
It's 30 days
Oh.
now.
I had the
He
feeling,
has to wait till.
Was this a heated case?
I got the feeling he was gonna take it to court.
Yeah, there was
As a reminder, we are still being
quite
recorded.
a few people came in support.
Was this last month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready
I see the
for
signs all over
tonight's cases?
Anderson, Sabre.
Case 13.
I have seen it.
Okay,
That's
gentlemen,
their campaign.
we have 13/2023 in front of us.
I'm good.
Same here.
Do it here.
I'm good.
Same here.
Didn't I have another condition on their submittal?
I think it was the second case.
Pardon?
That was our second case. You had 3 conditions.
Or just the second case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had some pretty good plans.
Yeah, they did.
Wait a second.
Yeah, but I thought I conditioned that to their attachment.
No, that was on the second one.
That was Fox Hollow.
That was for case 14. This is
Yeah.
case 13 right now.
Oh, yeah, that's what, on 13, unless I filed this wrong in my own internal records.
Case 14 didn't have an elevation.
Okay.
Yeah, the drawings there were substantial regarding sections, elevations, and whatnot.
But this is the other case, not
No,
that.
that's 14.
That's 14.
13.
That's
That's
13.
13.
That's,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing now is 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I thought it was, I added a condition that in compliance with Art Hunkel's
Plan submitted on.
plan submitted. Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, that
I
falls
did.
under plans
number
submitted.
2.
Number 2.
Oh, never mind. If I could read, this job would be so much easier.
I'm putting my watch back. Anything else, gentlemen?
It's nice outside, guys.
A motion?
Mr. Chairman, with regards to case number 13-2023 BZA, a motion that we approve and journalize it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Hager.
Aye.
I kept looking for Hunkle, and I didn't.
Looking for hunka Bruno.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm good.
Good here.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
What is that? Fox Hollow. Oh, there we go. Oh, was that your cursor over it? Oh, I was gonna go, what the heck?
Good.
So here you are, missing your third.
Now, there was the third one on this one.
Yeah.
You can wordsmith that.
I also had, the one about compatibility.
I think probably what you need to put here is, that the addition is to remain open, even though we
The
said.
covered,
Yeah.
the covered deck, however we want to word that, is
Yeah.
to remain open. Okay.
And then the other one was compatibility with the.
Yeah, the plans will be compatible with existing construction.
Yep.
There's no Hinkle on this one.
Anything else? Motion?
Mr. Chair, with regards to case number 14-2023 BZA, motion that we approve and journalize.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Hager.
Aye. Okay, our last item, number 9, is discussion of a couple items here. The first being case 20-2009 BZA, where the BZA approved a variance for property located on North Port Drive. A zoning certificate for the fence was issued. However, the fence was never constructed. The property owner has been in contact with staff to inquire of an extension from the listed conditions, specifically number 2, that construction shall be started within 1 year and shall be completed within 2 years. So she would like to now install the fence, and we are beyond the condition of construction. So since the zoning certificates do not expire, staff is requesting the board modify the condition of the resolution as we have done in other cases. So if we do not extend the timeline, then we will force a new hearing. So any discussion on this before we go to a motion?
Do we have any documentation in regards to that? Like a resolution that we need to look at?
It's the original BZA was approved.
we're just extending.
Extending it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just extending the time to allow her to.
I've got no issue with it, with extending.
So the form of the motion would be just regarding the case, we establish a new condition.
You would grant an extension in case 20-20, 2009 BZA for an additional year to construct the fence in question. from
I like
today's
that.
date.
Okay.
We all have to abstain that, don't we? Is it
I was not on here.
2009?
I was
No,
not here.
you don't have to abstain, you're making a new decision.
Ah,
You're
okay.
making a motion to extend
Mr. Chair,
from today's
Yes.
date.
I'd like to make a motion reference the memorandum dated May 3rd, 2023 regarding case 20-2009, that we extend condition number 2, construction shall be started with a 1 year and completed with 2, to read construction and completion shall be 1 year from, what is today, the 4th? 4th.
From tonight's date.
Yep.
Second
Okay.
motion.
Does that read well? Okay, it reads well. We've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Hager.
Aye. Our last item is going to be discussion regarding case 9-2023. During the decision and journalization portion of the hearing, Mr. Halpin seconded the motion set forth by Mr. Sion to approve the variance where Mr. Halpin had recused himself. Therefore, the staff requests the board members to revote and correct the decision and journalization for case 9-2023. So all we're looking for is a new
Was I here on
decision,
that day? I missed one.
a motion
That was the day he had to recuse himself.
affirming the decision and journalization and making sure that those people were here in attendance as well as voting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you check to see, was I here for that
You were.
meeting? I was, okay. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion regarding approving the memorandum issued May 3rd, 2023 regarding case 9-2023, that we re-vote,
Re-journalize
re-journalize the case 9-2023
with no modification.
with no modifications, okay.
Second the motion.
You got that?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Abstain?
Mr. Sion.
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Abstain.
Mr. Haber.
Aye. Anything else coming before the board? Folks, it's a beautiful evening out there. How about we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.